to go back to the 70s, and he's written probably 20 or 30 or 40 good receiver articles. You got to read every single one of those and make sure you understand them.
Ray, I was born in 1973.
Okay, well, all I can tell you, I'm not kidding, this is serious. The radio that Randy is sitting in front of is 30 years or 40 years of Ulrich Rhodes papers on high-performance receivers.
So that makes him hear how much better?
Oh, trust me when I tell you. Every radio that all of us own that are in the higher end radios were basically designed by him over the course of the last 40 years.
Cool.
He's some kind of receiver genius. He's just an electronic genius, but with receivers, he knew what was wrong with receivers way back.
Only a true ham techno nerd would get excited about something like that.
Well, like I said, when you get your first super radio and you see what it can do, you'll be much more thankful about Ulrich Rhodes.
You know what's going to happen when I get my first big super new radio?
Yeah, first of all, I'm going to be able to hear your crisp, clean, wideband audio, and I'm not going to have to strain to hear you. That's the number one thing.
Well, perhaps it'll give me like 2 months to get used to the radio and enjoy it, and then about month 3, I'll be like, all right, what's the next nicer, bigger radio?
Yeah, no way. You buy the Kenwood 890 and run it for 2 or 3 months, and then put it aside and write a letter to yourself. For the next 30 days, I have to go back to my T2000 Kenwood, and for the next 30 days, you're going to be the most unhappy, disgusted human being on the planet.
I doubt it. I'll just have another radio to play with. It was better received.
It's just better everything. The transmitter's way better. In your case, though, those radios there, because there's 3 of them in here, and they all sound cruddy. So they just sound bad. I can't believe all 3 of them. Nobody can get one to sound halfway decent.
Oh well, I got to use what I got.
Well, like I said, if you don't have to buy a $37.99 radio, you can buy the 7300. That's a great radio. Yeah, just use that one for your VHF and use the 7300 here, and you'll be all set.
VHF? What's that?
Well, then sell that piece of junk. Take the money and put it toward. Hell, you can get enough money for that radio. Those fools will pay $800 or $900 for that. You could just trade it for a 7300. What the hell are you waiting for?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't even offer anything for this radio for me. How am I going to sell it to somebody else?
Listen, I am not going to buy a 20-year-old radio because I know what they're like. I'd open the window here on the 3rd floor and chuck that thing out in the driveway. You have no idea the difference you're going to see when you get a real radio.
Then I'd have to go back to my 7000.
Well, the 7000 is probably a lot better than that thing.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that on the receiver was a little better.
Yeah, well, the 7000's okay, but it's still nowhere near in the class with all these high-end rigs now. Speaking of high-end rigs, anybody know when that damn Yaesu's finally going to come out?
Still waiting.
Taxes back, Randy? Is that what you're saying?
No, I said still waiting. What was that?
Who are you talking to, me?
Yeah, I asked what you said.
I said, does anybody know when that damn Yaesu's finally going to come out?
I said no, still waiting.
Oh, I get it. Okay, well, I'm sure dying to see if that thing is just a junky SDR or it's a real radio. According to the specs they're touting, it can't be an SDR.
We call it a hybrid, like your radio.
Right. Well, I gave the schematics to Paul, and he poured over them for a week or so, and he said, his thing is, he said, that radio you have is a transverter. He said, that's what radio is. He said, it's a transverter front end, basically, in front of the SDR. And that makes perfect sense.
Oh, I got a bad streetlight starter in my receive now.
You got a bad what?
Streetlight starter.
Oh, okay.
You know what they sound like, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you had an ICOM 7800 and you hit the noise blanker, that would be gone.
Yeah, the noise blanker helps a little bit, but it'll go away as soon as it kicks on.
The 7600, out of all the radios I've owned, the 7600 has the best noise blanker of any radio I've ever seen.
It just makes me wonder, why did they do the 7610 that way if they had such a good radio in the 7600?
Because the radio community brainwashed everybody in the country to want to have an SDR, and they built an SDR because that's what they figured everybody wanted. And it probably would have worked for them, accepting the fact that they built a bad one.
Yep, I was right. There's the light. It's coming on. That's the one that's always notoriously noisy.
Well, it's not a big deal. Call the power company. Tell them you're a ham. Tell them the starter and the light in front of your house is making all kinds of noise. Do you think you could repair it? Within 2 or 3 weeks, they'll put a new starter in it.
No. It's probably not a bad starter anyway. It only makes that noise when it first comes on. It just so happens that we're on the radio at that specific time of the day now because we're at that time of the year where it's just starting to get twilight when we're here.
Somebody came in way out there. I don't know if I can hear you, but go ahead. Hello? Is there somebody else in here? I guess not. I heard somebody say something, but whatever.
Over.
Go ahead, Randy. Say something.
Just listening here, just doing a little reading. Got some stuff for work I'm doing, so just enjoying the wonderful conversation.
Well, I want to know where the windfall came from.
It came from an insurance company. We had paid a bill, and they had forgotten to... they apparently gave us a check that we never cashed. I don't know if we've ever gotten it. So we paid the bills because we always pay the bills. And so now they're going to reissue us a check from 2016.
Yeah, but what's it for?
Something that was, we, like with our insurance company, you have so much you have to pay. So we just, when a bill comes, we pay the bill, and then we get reimbursed.
Well, whatever. It's not important. Anyway, I got $539 today back from Blue Cross Blue Shield on my mother's policy.
Nice.
Okay, now.
But that's all got to go into that, that account. So I bring it to the bank, put it in the account, and technically it's got to sit there for a year. Unless, of course, Palstar comes out with the 1,500-watt version.
Then you can get a hold of it.
Yeah, then I can I can take out I can legally, they're not going to bust my cookies because there's nobody else in the family to fight with, but I can legally take out the money that I put out, maintaining the house and all the other stuff that I've had to do, and that probably right alone there comes to I don't know, $3 grand. I would say $2 or $3 grand anyway, so or more. So therefore, when Palstar comes out with that new amp, and I'll sell all the ones I have, then I can buy one of those.
Devin thinks you should RF kit. RF kit. Is that the RF kit?
Right. Well, you know what? I'm getting lazy. I want to buy from my pal, my personal friend Paul, at the world famous Palstar company, because I know that's a really good amp.
Yep, it truly is. He did a great job with that.
That's MOSFET driven? Is that 50 volt MOSFETs in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I asked that question before.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yes, it's a MOSFET amp.
What, got little muffin fans in there to keep her cool?
Yeah, and it's got a little gauge in there. It tells you what the temperature is, and it'll go. It has three stages of blower, and then when you get to when you exceed the upper limit, then it'll shut itself off, so you can't burn the thing up.
Yeah, it's nice. The Ameritron I had, the mobile, that does that, but it only has one stage of fan, on or not on. And it does have a thermal light. And I actually did run that amp once or twice to the point of where it shut down to thermal. So that works too.
Yeah, I did too. So immediately, what did I do? I went into the amp and set it so when the amp comes on, the blower comes on, so it never gets hot. And now, when the amp is on, the blower's on. I don't wait for it. See, the thing that they do, they wait for it to heat up, and then they turn the fan on, because people are afraid of hearing things in the background. But in the mobile, who cares? It's behind me in the seat. So I just turned it on. I put the fan. The amp comes on, the fan comes on, and it never gets warm after that.
Yeah, it just kind of makes you sound like a big radio when you got a little bit of blower noise in the background. Off quietly to the side.
Well, you'll never hear that fan in my truck. It's the truck's noisy enough on the highway, so the blower, if you hear that, I'm not driving. I'm not moving.
Hey, one of the guys I was talking to earlier in here has the Commander Magnum, or the big one, the one with the 3 CPX tubes and the high voltage power supply.
Yeah, that's a nice amp.
Yeah, that is a nice amp. But and he's got, I don't know how many. I think he's got one set of spare tubes. I think.
What tubes are in that one?
3 CPX 800.
The expensive ones.
No, they're all those tubes are the same price. The CPX never cost more than the other one.
But the 3CX 800s are very expensive.
Oh yeah, the tube itself is expensive, but the CPX actually used to cost the same price. And then finally, all the amp manufacturers got smart and they all used the CPX.
The CP is ceramic pentode, I take it.
Well, I don't know. The CPX is pulse. It's something pulse. It's a pulse-rated tube. They can put out like 30,000 watts for a few milliseconds.
Oh, so it's not a pentode. It's pulse-rated. Oh.
They can handle 3,500 volts on the plate instead of 2250.
Nice. That'll make it get up and go.
Yeah, but they don't need it because those tubes have lots of gain anyway. So if you had 3 of them, 100 watts will drive it plenty.
What is the gain on the tube?
Well, it's at least 13 dB. It's probably 15.
Hello. Yeah, you wouldn't need much to drive that.
No, if you're running them really low, like just like on AM or something, they have almost 16 dB a gain. That's a great tube.
It's just a shame they got to be so expensive.
Well, somewhere, someplace, there's 40 or 50 of them sitting in some guy's junk drawer, and you probably knew the guy. He'd say, here, take 5 of them. Here, take 3, take 2. Here, give me $50 a piece, you know. You just got to find them. Because I found 2, and I paid $350 for 2 tubes. Now, 1 tube's bad, but in the single tube amp, it would put out 800 watts. I mean, it'd put out more than that, but it would start to arc internally. But I could run it at 800. 500. It would start to arc at 800 watts. You could run it at 500 to 600 watts.
So you bought 2 bad tubes for $350?
No, I bought 2 tubes for $350. One was bad, and the other one was allegedly brand new.
Right, that arcs at 800. So you bought 2 bad tubes for $350?
No, because the bad tube I put in the amp first, and like I said, I ran it for a week and a half at 500 and 600 watts. It worked fine. It would just start to arc internally at 800 watts. The other tube I put in would do 1500 watts.
So is it supposed to do that at 800 watts, arc internally?
No, the tube was bad, but the guy told me it was bad. He said, I'm just going to throw in the other tube with it for the same money.
Oh, so the other tube did full boogie, and he gave you a partial.
Correct. And he said it's a great tube if you're building an amp and you just want to test an amp or something like that. But, you know, if you had an amp and it had 1 tube in it and it was bad, this tube will still give you 500 or 600 watts, probably forever.
I've noticed something about you, Ray. You're a detail-oriented individual.
I try to keep my wits about me. You know, here's my next project. Randy, are you listening?
I am.
Are you paying attention?
For the most part.
Bob, are you in here? KD2T or whatever, are you in here? Okay. When my mother bought her BMW, and it came brand new, it had the 3-liter tag on the back of the car. That's the 225 horse engine. And when we brought it back to BMW, I might have told you this story already, but when we brought it back to BMW, I told the guy, I said, you know, this car's got a 3-liter sticker on it, and I find it hard to believe they put that on wrong at the factory. I said, we only paid for the 2.5 liter, but it's got a 3-liter sticker on it, so let me know. Now, when we picked up the car, it had the 2.5 liter sticker on it. You know, it's a chrome decal, and the guy never said anything. I said, well, what's the story? And he just didn't say anything. He just played stupid. So anyway, to this day, I'm not sure if that car really has the 3-liter or the 2.5 liter engine in it. Now, what I need to do is find somebody who's incredibly sharp with a computer to figure it out.
No.
Well, you had that the mechanic came over and he told you it was a 2 whatever liter.
That's right, but who's going to believe him? He's trying to prove to that girl that he's going to save her money. I can't believe him. But let me ask you a question. BMW builds cars, right? That's what they do. They've been doing it for 70 or 80 or 90 years. What kind of mistake is more obvious? That they put that car went through and got a 3-liter engine and they stuck the 3-liter sticker on it, or it got the 2.5 liter engine and they stuck the 3-liter sticker on it?
Well, I would say that it's probably got the wrong sticker, you know. I think that's probably simple to do. You should be able to open the hood and look at the engine and decide whether it's a 3-liter or a 2-liter.
Hello?
But see, that's the problem. Nobody knows. I've never known anybody who would know. Now, somebody must know, but that would be a research thing for the computer. Go ahead, Mark.
Just bring it to the dealer.
The dealer's not going to tell you squat. Believe me, it's like calling up ICOM and asking them, are you having a problem with your radio?
No, it's not, Ray. Just go there and say to them, you want to have, you got to get parts for your car, but you don't know what engine it is, and tell me what engine this is, so I can go to the dealer, I can go to the counter, the parts counter, and order the spark plugs and all that stuff that I need for it, and then they'll tell you right then and there.
There's a little sticker right on the when you lift the hood up and you look right at the frame of the vehicle by front of the radiator. There's a little sticker there that tells you the particulars of the engine type, and it's usually riveted, stuck permanently. It's usually a silver lining. It's right there on the frame of the vehicle.
Yeah, there is one there, but I don't think
it says
anything about the engine. But next time I'm down there, I'll look at it.
There's a casting number on the block.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one we need. That's the only way I'm ever going to believe that's one or the other. To get a casting number off the block, and then that'll verify it. Because obviously they're two different blocks.
Is the 2.5 and the 3 made by different manufacturers?
No, they're BMW engines.
Okay. Is there anything particularly easy to tell differently by viewing alone that makes it different between the 3 and the 2.5?
No, it's like a small block Chevy. Is it a 327 or a 350? You can't tell. They're exactly the same.
But did they have different options? Like one's turbocharged, one's non-turbocharged?
No. As far as I know, this much I know. It's a double overhead cam and probably 4 valves per cylinder. I'm not sure if it's 4 valves per cylinder, but 2.5 liters is 150 cubes, 185 horse. It's probably 4 valves per cylinder. All I know is the car's pretty damn fast.
Well, you might think it's fast, but somebody else might not think so.
Yeah, but I've been driving high-performance cars for years, and I mean, to me, of course the car's lighter than my Impala, but I mean, when you jump right on it, that thing goes right up to 6,500 RPM, and it's moving right along.
So basically what you're saying here is you have yet to sell your BMW.
It has nothing to do with selling it. I always questioned whether that was the 3-liter or the 2.5-liter. I just find it inconceivable that a 3-liter sticker got stuck on that car by accident. That is just hard to believe. Because, I'll tell you why. Because they probably go through a separate line. One gets the 2.5, one gets the 3, and the other one gets the super high-performance engine, which was 319 horsepower.
So you're the only guy ever to get a sticker put on the BMW with the wrong insignia.
That I don't know, but in all honesty, I've been playing with cars long enough that I'd almost be willing to bet you that the chances are putting the wrong engine in the car is better than putting the wrong sticker on the car.
I doubt it. I had my new Dodge truck that I bought came with had power seats, and it wasn't ordered that way. And in the build sheet, it didn't say anything about power seats in it, but it has power seats.
Well, hey, like I said, I really don't know. All I know is that this thing goes right along when you step on it. Now, it might be because it's a lot lighter than the Impala.
Well, yeah, of course it's way lighter than the Impala, and it's got more horsepower to weight, but it's also more aerodynamic. And the other thing is it's an Impala, which are heaps. They're not fast cars.
You'd be surprised. For the engine that's in that Impala, you'd be surprised just how peppy it is. Let's put it this way. Back when I was a kid, a 283 Impala would do 0 to 60 in how many seconds?
0 to... Okay, hang on a second. I just found something. So right in your VIN number, it'll tell you what that engine is in the VIN. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's usually the eighth digit. Eighth digit. That's right. And it'll say 2 will be a 1.6, 3 will be like a 1.8, and 4 will be a 1.8 double overhead cam turbo. And that's just in a different type of a car, but that's where you're going to find it. You got to find out just by your VIN number. If you called the dealer and gave them your VIN number, the eighth digit, they'll tell you what engine's in that car.
Yes, that's true, but that still doesn't mean that's the engine in the car. But is that information you're giving me correct? Because I'll go get the title.
Eighth digit.
Okay, I'll go get the title, and I'll be right back. Well, we're just talking about something else, too. Well, the 283. Now, 283 Chevy Impala. What does it do 0 to 60 in?
What year?
1960... I think it was a 63. I think it was a 63. 280. No, you're not looking it up on your computer. Don't look it up on your computer. Think it in your head. 283, 195 horse. It was a 283 Power Glide, 195 horse. Now, what does it do 0 to 60 in?
I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at this thing for the VIN number for your car. I would say that's probably a slug because it's a heavy car without a lot of power. So what? 8 seconds in 0 to 60?
16 seconds.
16 seconds?
God, that's a Model A.
Now, another one of our guys got a 327 250 horse. So the 283 was a two-barrel, 195 horse, 16 seconds 0 to 60. Now the 327 250 horse, what's that do 0 to 60 in?
I don't know, not much faster. Probably 14. If that thing does it in 16, probably 14 seconds. 15.
No, 12. It would do 0 to 60 in 12 seconds. 250 horse Power Glide Chevy Impala. Okay, now, my car is a 200 horse, and I'm sure it weighs a little bit less. My car weighs 3460 because I had it weighed. It does 0 to 60 in 9 seconds.
Right, it's a slug.
Well, true, but still, that's not bad performance for a 6-cylinder 200-horse engine.
Well, you said it. It's a 200 horse. It's modern 200 horse, by the way. It's got better fuel management, and it's got better traction, and it's a lighter car.
And it's got a much better torque curve.
Right. Yeah, better fuel management, in other words. And that car weighs 2,000 pounds less.
No, my car weighs 3460. Those old Impalas, they didn't weigh much more. They were like 30. I think they were about 3,600.
Oh, those things got to be 4,000 pounds or better, aren't they?
No, because my car, all the new cars have a double steel panel in the roof. The roof is rollover proof, and they didn't have those in those. Look up the weight. Look up the weight, just for the hell of it. Look up the weight on my car, 2001 Chevy LS Impala, and then look up the weight on a 283 283 1963 Chevy Impala Power Glide transmission.
That thing, that's got to be a ton. The bumpers on that thing weigh more than your car.
I'm telling you, those cars weren't that heavy because they were really tinny, and they didn't have the rollover roof or any of that stuff. I'm sure they weighed more, but they didn't weigh that much more. What do you think my 67 Olds 442 two-door, obviously, Olds 442, 400 cubic inch, all steel. The goddamn intake manifold weighed, that weighed 70 pounds for just the intake alone. What do you think that Olds 442 weighed?
Wait a minute. You're so screwed up here, it ain't even funny. So, here's the Chevy Impala Sport Coupe 230. It's got the torque turbo thrift manual 3-speed 140 horsepower, 220 foot-pounds of torque. This is a monster. Shipping weight is 3265, 3,400 when it's all put together. How fast is this car? Top speed is 96 miles per hour. Accelerates 0 to 60 in 13.3 seconds.
What year are you talking about?
A 63 Impala.
Okay. No. You got a higher horsepower one. We're talking about a 283 two-barrel, 195 horsepower.
This is 140 horsepower, okay? This is a 230 cubic inch. Advertised horsepower was 140, torque 220.
That's a six-cylinder.
And it does 13.3 in 0 to 60.
Now, there's no way in hell, because we've had the cars. I had a stopwatch and we've clocked them off 100 times. That was 283, 195 horse. Go to six. It might have been a 62, but don't forget Power Glide. Power Glide transmission, standard 1962, 195 horse, 283. 283. Remember that. Now you're saying 230. The 283.
Yeah, and this next car does it in 12.6 seconds because it's got a 4-speed transmission. These are manual 4-speeds. That's how much better the manual. I'm trying to find that piece of junk you're talking about. Here's a turbo. Okay, this is a 230 Power Glide, 2-speed horsepower torque. Does 15.7 in a quarter mile with a 2-speed torque. That's that great torque. That's a Power Glide right there, baby. That's the worst transmission they ever invented.
But they're the fastest on the drag strip even today.
Right. The Power Glide, same exact car, same exact weight, same everything, same 140 horsepower. It does 3 seconds slower in the quarter mile with the Power Glide versus the 4-speed.
Yes, but we're not talking about a stock street deal. We're talking about a Power Glide that's got a 6,000 or 7,000 RPM stall converter in front of it.
Well, the Power Glide's a pile of garbage. That's why nobody that raced used Power Glides. None of the real racers use Power Glides. Just the old guys like you that can't shift.
You're 100% wrong. The fastest out of all three Chevrolets, the Turbo 400, Turbo 350, and the Power Glide. The Power Glide is always the fastest, always at the drag strip. I ran into a guy that was running a stocker. He ran the it was a Chevelle, a full size, a Chevy Chevelle, one of the older ones, like a 73 or 72 or something like that. Chevelle with a 4-barrel 350 in it, but it was a stocker. It was one of those legal, it was a drag race car, headers, gears, slicks, the whole deal. And the guy had 3 transmissions. He had a Power Glide, a Turbo 400, and a Turbo 350. And he was sharper than hell. He was a professional bracket racer. And I talked to him very carefully one day. I said, you got all 3 trannies. Which one's the fastest? He goes, which one do you think? I said, I hate to say it, the Power Glide. He goes, absolutely. He said the Turbo 400's like 0.4 of a second slower. The Turbo 350's about 0.2 of a second slower, and the Power Glide's the fastest.
Yeah, he can say all he wants. All I'm telling you is right now is what I'm looking at here. Yeah, you can modify it, maybe make it better, but here is your car, 283 V8 Power Glide, okay? You got it, it's a 1963 Impala, 283 Turbo Fire Power Glide, 2-speed transmission, okay?
What carburetor, 4-barrel or 2-barrel?
Boy, oh boy. Let's see, rear-wheel drive, gasoline petrol engine displacement 283 advertised, 195 horsepower. It doesn't give me, it's 195 horsepower.
That's the car.
Okay, with the Power Glide. Here's the Power Glide. How fast is this car? Top speed, 106 miles per hour. Accelerates 0 to 60 in 10.9 seconds. It does 0 to 100 in 11.5 seconds. Okay, now did you get that? That's and it does the quarter mile in 18.5 seconds. 10.9, 11.5, and 18.5. That's the Power Glide. I'm not going to unkey because you're going to go nuts when I do. I'm trying to find that with a 4-speed. Same car. Here's the same car. Same car with a 4-speed. 9 seconds in the 0 to 60. To 100 is 9.7 seconds and does a quarter mile in 17 seconds. Same car with a 4-speed.
Listen, that has to be professional drag race cars. There is no way in hell a 283, 194, 5 horse is going to go. Think about what you're saying, 0 to 100 in 9 or 10 seconds. That's crazy. They only hit 67 or 70 miles an hour in the quarter.
This is, all I'm telling you is what General Motors put out. This is a General Motors thing that they put out.
Well, that's total guess. Just think about it. So you're telling me that you're saying the car does 0 to 100 in 10-something seconds, and it turns 16 or 17 seconds in the quarter mile. Those cars, I'm telling you, those cars won't even hit 70 in the quarter.
18.5 in a quarter. This one is the 250. This is the 327 Turbo Fire 250 manual 3-speed. That's the specs that I gave you.
Okay, totally different car because, like I said, one of those cars was do 0 to 60 in 16 seconds, and the 250 horse 327 would do 0 to 60 in 12 seconds. And neither one of them had burned rubber.
Certainly not with a Power Glide.
No, but what do they weigh? That's what I want to know. What is it? What is a 283, 195? It doesn't matter which engine. It doesn't matter which engine's in the car. What do they weigh with a Power Glide?
Let me go back to the Power Glide. Okay, 327 Power Glide right here. Let me find the weight.
I'm guessing they're 36 something.
Here's the dimensions. Where the heck? How come I can't find it? Oh, wheelbase. Base curb weight, 3633.
Now, am I a genius or what? Now, my Impala, I weighed it. I brought it on a certified scale. It weighed 3460.
Okay, so it weighs the same same weight as this. Well, with your fat ass in it, it's going to be the same weight as this car, right? So it's the same weight, really. And this is a 300 horsepower with a Power Glide. And what's your car? This goes 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds, this one.
Well, you'll never prove it by me because my friends had them, and that one did 12 seconds, 0 to 60. Mine does 9 seconds, 0 to 60. But that's it. Look up mine. That'll be interesting. Look up mine. Maybe those specs are just BS because I've clocked mine 50 times, and it does 0 to 60 in 9 seconds.
Don't forget, this is the 300. The one I just looked up is the 300, the 327 300 horse.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a bit, that's a much higher performance engine. But the thing is, just look up my car because now I'm kind of curious because there's no way in hell any one of the 250 horse 327 wouldn't even come close to my car in a race, and my car would kill it because it's got a 4-speed transmission.
What year is yours? 2001.
2001, yeah, LS, 200. There's two different engines. One's 180, the other's 200. Mine's obviously the 200. Boy, look at it. It's car night. What's tonight? Today's Wednesday, right? Car night.
If it's not too much to ask, Ray, I'd like a drunken girlfriend report.
I don't have anything to do with women anymore. I've given up.
Okay, then a drunken boyfriend report.
What are you doing this weekend?
Ooh. Hey now.
So the weight is 3466.
Now, okay, that much we know is true because I weighed mine and it weighed 3460.
And the horsepower is 200, 17-gallon fuel tank, turning radius a dismal 38 feet, cargo volume, hip room. I got to see how fast it is now. I got to find those specs. Well,
you got the exact right car, so let's see what it does 0 to 60 in. They're going to tell you it does 0 to 60 in 7 seconds or something.
Okay, Impala LS Performance. Here we go. Okay, so we're getting there now. Let's see what it says. Well, it's not giving me... What the hell, isn't it? Oh, the computers are crazy. I got to find this. I just did this.
Well, while he's looking, Tate, Ray, did you notice today there was a little bit of, how could you word it, a bit of tension in the air?
On the radio?
No, just out and about in public in general.
No, because I really didn't interact with anybody today that I can think of.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I know what you're going to say, and I agree with you. There's certain days when people drive like crazy, and there's days when the horrible drivers are out, and I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Today was one of those days. It was palatable. You could feel it.
Well, on the way down there, I was following some woman, and she was a terrible, terrible driver. She was fast and slow, almost going off the right-hand side of the road, sort of weaving back and forth, just drove like really bad. And it was a woman, too.
Yeah, some dude in an Orkin truck laid on the horn on me for like 30 seconds.
What did you do?
I was in the turning right lane, and I wanted to go straight, so I just kind of blended in with traffic, and I made him get in line one car behind me, and I guess he didn't like that.
This one says 8.6 seconds and 16.6 and a quarter at 85 miles per hour.
Yeah, okay, that I can believe that. Mine does 0 to 60 in 9. That's under ideal conditions. Perfect day, no wheel spin, a 100-pound driver. Yeah, it would do that. High-test gasoline.
If you can get it anymore.
Yeah, you can get high test, but it costs about 30 cents a gallon more.
It's not even really high test anymore.
Well, that's true. But on that BMW, that takes high test. That engine requires high test.
Probably super synthetic oil too, right?
Well, yeah, all BMWs come with synthetic oil. It tells you right on that tag in the front of the engine. And, of course, I've always run synthetic oil in it. That's the only stuff that you ever want to put in any engine nowadays. Because, you know why, Mark? Because it's much cheaper to use synthetic than it is to use regular motor oil.
You mean that tag that tells you what size the engine is?
Well, it doesn't. I don't think it does tell you what size the engine is, because I would have seen it. But I'm going to go down and get the title to the car. So go back to that thing, Randy, and I'll be back in a minute or so. N1 DVL.
Here in Europe now, they're making cars and they're limiting the top speed of the cars. They're not. That's not true. They're making the cars so they can't speed. That's that's really something. I want one of those cars.
One more level of absolute control.
It's really, really crazy. Somebody would want that.
They're going to get it. They're going to achieve it here in the very near future. They're going to make an announcement. They've finally got peace and security. Absolute control over everything.
They're talking now. There was a thing. Somebody, one of the political people, had made a recording that I thought was very, very interesting for New York State people. It states that if they legalize marijuana, when you go buy your marijuana, they have to they ask you for an ID, and they put your ID in the system. And once your ID is in the system for buying marijuana, it also cross-checks it with, do you own a gun? And if you own a gun, you're buying a controlled substance, you will be automatically made to forfeit all your weapons.
Well, that's the only reason they did the marijuana in the first place. The ultimate goal here is to get the guns out of the hands of the people, and that's part of that whole New World Order that's slowly taking power underneath things and quietly assuming power by legislation and means other than by the people. But it's to get the gun to the hands of the people, because they can't just take the guns for no reason. That's a protected right. So you have to do it in a different way.
That's right. They've got to have a teacher tell her boss that this kid's father has a bad temper and he owns a gun.
Yes, exactly. Stuff like that. You're going to be a pothead. Okay, well, you can't have a tent. Oh, you're an alcoholic. Oh, you've had a history of beating your girlfriend. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. Oh, we're going to limit the magazines. You can't have this many bullets. Oh, you can't have bumper stocks. Oh, you can't have this. Oh, you can't have that. Next thing you know, what's the point of owning it? Because you can't even touch it. You can't fire it, and you can't take it out of the safe.
Okay, I got the title. Now, what number?
Well, I would have to punch in the whole, the eighth number. What's your eighth number? Eighth digit.
A 4.
So now I got to figure out what that means, the 4. So, okay, I'll just write that down, 4. Okay, I have to go to another site now.
Yellow Mike 4, Golf Bravo Mike.
Well, you asked for a 4 and you got one.
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that, Ray. I had difficulty with my microphone there, but I'm okay now. Anyway, good evening, gentlemen. This is Nelson out of Virginia.
Well, good evening, Nelson.
Read off your whole VIN.
Read off the whole title number?
I don't know if that's such a smart idea.
The VIN.
The VIN. Yeah, the VIN. Yeah, okay. VIN, right. You ready to copy?
Go ahead.
W B A C N 3 3 4 2 1 L M 0 or an O, whatever, 3 4 8 7.
I wonder if it's a 2.1.
No, it's either a 2.5, a 3, or it's one or the other, or the one with the turbo on it.
No, he just told you. He doubled with him. Say it again.
01 Z3 2.5.
Right, well, that's what it's supposed to be, and that's what, like I said, it came with a 3.0 sticker on it.
So,
Well, the only other thing you can do is find a casting number on the block.
Could you look that up? If I find the casting number, do you have that on your computer?
I may.
Okay, do you have any idea where it is?
No, I have to do a little more research. If I can't find it here, I can find it down at the shop.
Okay, well, if you have nothing to do for 10 minutes someday, find out where the casting number is, and I'll put it up. I'm really, really curious. It's probably a 2.5. That's what we ordered, but it did come with a 3.0 sticker on it, and that's pretty odd.
So you're the original first owner of said vehicle?
Absolutely. Brand new. $33,700, I think.
So what engine is in the supposed 3.0 stickered vehicle?
A better ID, WA3 FPN.
KB2's VP at the 20.
And or more.
And one DVL. There was 3 engines in that year. 185 horsepower, 225 horsepower and 319 horsepower. The first one is the 2.5, the 225 is the 3, and the 319 is the 3. And I never knew this until just the other day. I believe it has a turbocharger on it.
Yeah, that ought to get out of its own way.
That only came with a standard, you had to have a standard transmission.
So that's a standard?
No, it's an automatic.
Oh, so it doesn't have a turbo?
No, of course not.
Of course not? Oh, okay. Well, then it's a slug.
Well, you know what? It's like my Impala. It's not a race car, but it's fast enough.
Well, it's just because you're old, Ray.
Well, that may be true, but it's peppy. You know what I mean? It gets out of its own way. It goes right along. The only time it's not it needs more power is when you're trying to go from, let's say, 60 or 70 up on, let's say 50 to 70 or 70 to 80 or something like that. Then it's kind of slow.
Yeah, my truck goes to 100 so fast from 65, it's not even funny. It's just a fast pickup truck, And I think all pickup trucks are like that. I think the Fords are fast, the Chevys are fast. Cars and trucks nowadays have so much power, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's because the companies are smart. They realize gearheads are driving them, and they want to have performance. And it doesn't cost you any gas mileage. Now listen, I had in my 67 Olds, I had an aluminum head open chamber L88. Now that engine, everybody knew that engine. Even with a 180-degree manifold on it, that engine made 550 horsepower. The car was a standard transmission 4-speed with 410 gears. What do you think that got for gas mileage?
8.
You would think so, but it got 12.
KC3 KXP.
Hey, Tom.
Howdy. I was going to tell you, you guys are talking horsepower. My half-brother just traded his 707 horsepower Challenger in for that Hellcat Red Eye. That's around 10 or 1100 horsepower.
Well, he needs a new psychiatrist. You better get him signed up right away.
That's a car you could classify having some pep.
Yeah, they go 9 seconds right out of the box.
Yeah, right.
And the thing that kills me, in all honesty, is, look, you've driven fast cars, I've driven fast cars. It's inconceivable that somebody that has a lot of money can buy a car like that and not kill themselves.
Well, if they use it, if they use that power, they probably will.
You're damn right, because that is just unbelievably fast. Unless it just scares them so bad, they just never really use it.
Give me that VIN number again.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to write it down.
Okay. WBACN. Now I'm going to give you that phonetically. Whiskey, Baker, America, Charlie, Nancy. Okay, now from there on. 3, 4, 2, 1. Lima, Mexico, October. Now, I don't know if the O is an O or it's a 0. I really don't know, but it's either a 0 or an O. And then 3487.
It's a 0.
Okay, it's a 0. So that is after the M, it's 03487.
Got it.
Do you fix BMWs, Mike?
We work on some. I mean, it depends on what the problem is, but regular mechanical stuff we do.
Yeah, okay, just curious, because this car, when it was brand new, it's got a double overhead cam. One of the cam sensors went bad, and a year later, the other cam sensor went bad. We had to put 2 cam sensors in it. Now, my guy up here, the guy I use now, Corby, he did it, and he didn't have any issue with it. And he's got the reader to read it, so, because he put the reader on it, and he told me right away, yeah, it's got a bad cam sensor.
Yeah, it's not unusual. Why, you bringing it down?
Say again?
I said, yeah, that's not unusual. Are you bringing it down?
I don't know what you mean by bringing it down.
You're going to bring it down here for me to work on?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so, no. Put too many miles on it.
Trailer it.
Well, yeah, that's what my mother used to do every year when they went to Florida. They trailered it down. It was cheaper to trailer it. They only paid like $350 to trailer it.
Either that or on that car train.
Yeah, don't you love that? That new company that's advertising on TV. You go to their car vending machine and you put in your whatever, and the car comes out.
Carvana.
That's really amazing. Has anybody ever seen one of those, or is that just like a ploy?
No, I don't think they have them that many places. They may have one in New York.
I never saw a car vending machine before.
Yeah, it only takes quarters.
That must be quite the target for the car thieves, huh?
Grab them all up in one night, and they're on the boat, and they're out of the country come morning.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Mike, I got a great idea. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if the 319 horse stick has a turbocharger on it, so therefore that turbo should be able to fit onto the one we got here. So can you put a turbocharger on it?
Probably not very well.
Yeah, it's actually a different engine. It's too bad. I always wondered about doing that. Be kind of neat. Put a turbocharger on it and really, let that turbo really go. And I don't know if the computer would be able to run it, but be interesting.
Put a 350 Chevy in it.
The car doesn't have to go through smog anymore, so, you could do it. What do you say?
350 Chevy in it.
No, it's not big enough. You couldn't fit it in there. You might be able to get it does have quite a bit of room under the hood. The engine to put in there is one of those new LS motors. My kid's Cadillac's got a 6-cylinder, 300 horsepower, double, it's got a 4-valve per cylinder engine in it. That's the same one they put in. That would be a great engine to put in a car like that. That would be a lot of fun. That thing had 300 horsepower with the kind of torque that Cadillac's got.
Either that or scare up one of those Grand National engines from 1967 that's intercooled.
Yeah, those too. But the thing is, if you were going to butcher the car and put that Cadillac engine in there, then you might as well put a turbocharger on that. You can make 400 horsepower. That'd be the ride of the century. The car's too small for me. If you ever get hit in that thing, you're dead. That's what my thing is. The Kennedy curse. That's my thing. The Kennedy curse. I was talking to a girl today at the bank when I put that money in, that money I got back from Blue Cross Blue Shield, which I was really surprised to get all of it back, $539. Anyway, I said, anybody want a BMW? I said, I got a hell of a nice car here. And the girl says, oh, my God, my daughter just getting, we're looking for a car for her. How much you want for it? And I said, well, I want 10 for it. She says, oh, that's too much. I said, listen, you don't want your 16-year-old daughter driving a car like this anyway. I would never, ever sell this to a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old kid.
Heck no. That would be crazy, man. Hey, Ray, you know what my dad did?
No, what?
He He had a 1974 Ford. Okay, it was great. All right, it had a cabin there. All right, when I was a little kid. And my mom's friend at the time was Tony. We lived in Bay Calvert down in Low Creek. And Tony's son was like 19 or 20, got his driver's license, turned 21, got drunk, and crashed, demolished that Ford, 1970 Ford that my dad sold to him. Unbelievable. My mom was about to be upset, fit to be tied. She told my dad, I knew you should not sell it to that young punk. Prime example.
Are you running a T2000?
Yes, why?
No, I was just wondering. Now, I'm at Mark. Can you understand him easily without really straining? Hello, Mark. Where do you go?
I'm sorry, I was having an argument with myself. What did I miss?
I was wondering if you could hear I think that's Nelson down there. If you could understand him okay on his T2000, because I'm having a hell of a hard time hearing him.
Nelson, come back to me.
All right, I'm coming back to you there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't have any problem at all. It sounds clear to me.
Yeah, he was better. You were better that time. I could hear you better that time. But yeah, your audio is very flat. It's very flat sounding. It's very hard to for me up here going through the noise. You're going through a really bad noise tonight. Really tough to hear you. But that's okay. All of those radios I have the same problem with. They're very narrow bandwidth. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they built those, but if there's any way to get the bandwidth wider, we got to make them wider.
Ray, you know what the problem is?
No.
His tongue got wrapped around his eye tooth and he couldn't see what he was saying.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Okay, Johnny.
Hey, Ray, cleaning out your hearing aid will help you out a little bit.
My mom's friend, Tony's son there, and he crashed his 1974 truck. He got drunk.
Now, here, this is for you old guys. Tom might remember this, and Randy, you won't remember. But when I was going to high school, there was this kid I knew, and he was a great kid, and he was older. He was like probably 4 or 5 years older than everybody else. He worked as a heavy-duty diesel mechanic. He worked on bulldozers. His specialty was bulldozers and earth-moving equipment. And he went back to high school to get the diploma in order to, move up in the company. And his name was Dan. I can't think of his last name, but it was Dan. He had the most unique car I have ever seen in my life. Has any of you guys, it was a 1956, I think. 1956 Ford Galaxy or Ford whatever. It had a 312, I think it was a 312 or a 292, but I think it had the 312 with a supercharger on it, and it had the clear glass takeoff roof. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah, Ray, and when I say G, Ford had a 312 turbo kit back then in the 50s.
Nah, this didn't have a turbo. It had a supercharger on it. It was a crankshaft-driven supercharger, and it came right from the factory like that. And I forgot I think it was a stick, but I'm not sure. But it had that takeoff roof, that clear. It was a green-colored glass takeoff roof. Half the roof came off, like the Corvettes. That car, if that car was still around today, that thing would have to be worth $500,000.
I never saw one with the clear roof. I saw pictures, and I always thought it was some kind of custom thing that they've done. But yeah, it's a supercharger. That's what they had, a supercharger right off the crankshaft. And I can't remember seeing one though. I know they had them because my brother was had a 57 Ford with a 292 3-speed. And he converted it from automatic. It was the old family truckster, but Country Squire, remember those? And when I say G.
The Country Squire was a station wagon, wasn't it?
That's what this was, yeah. Country Squire. 5-door, with the hatch in the back. Great little car.
Wasn't it like, I know that car, my dad talked about those, it was like a Skyliner or something, right?
Yes, you're right. It had some kind of weird name, Skyliner or whatever, but what a magnificent car. And then I'll tell you something else that happened very interesting to me when I was going to high school. We had our homeroom, and of course in homeroom everybody's there. You start your day in your homeroom, and that's where all your buddies are and everything. And we're in homeroom one day, we're in homeroom, and we hear this bang, real loud bang right out in front of the school, and I run to the window and look out, and one of the kids in our homeroom came around the corner and hit a tree square on with an old Studebaker. Square Studebakers. They kind of had angled tail lights on them, and they were kind of like black. They were black and real square looking.
My dad loves those cars. He was a huge Studebaker fan.
Right, so anyway, I hear this big, huge bang, and I look out the window, and there's the car with the front end into a tree. And we learned that the kid was taken away to the hospital. And I said, well, how the hell could he be taken away to the hospital? It doesn't even make sense. We go down and look at the car, and the damn steering wheel was sticking out of the holder by 2 feet.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have a collapsible steering wheel back then.
And holy crap, that damn steering wheel was just about up against the back of the seat. I couldn't believe it.
Sounds like a Golden Hawk.
It wasn't a Gold. It was the cheap, the cheap Studebaker there. Just a 6-cylinder inline, whatever. I don't know how the hell he managed to go around that corner and hit that tree solid. It was about a 3-foot diameter oak tree.
Lark.
Lark, yeah, that's what it was. Lark.
Yeah, that was kind of boxy then.
Yeah, they were real boxy.
Did Studebaker go to Rambler?
I think so.
Yeah, I was trying to think back for whatever. The guy I go down his garage, he does all old antiques. He had a Studebaker in there one day, but it wasn't the boxy one, M1SAG.
My mother had a I think it was about a 54 Nash Rambler with the little 4-cylinder flathead engine in it with the convertible top that slid down on rails.
Oh, I never saw one of those. I worked on those Nash Rambler flatheads when I was in the gas station. There were a lot of those around back then. They lasted for a while, and everybody loved them. They were economical, cheap to drive, cheap to own. But back then, cars were different,
And they had a song about them.
The Rambler?
Yeah, the little Nash Rambler.
Sing it.
Ray knows the song. We went through this a couple months ago.
Now I'm doing 120 as fast as I can go. The Rambler pulls aside of me as if I'm going slow. The guy rolls down his window and yells for me to hear. Hey, buddy, how do I get this car out of second gear?
Wow, that sounded just like the radio.
It was just on the radio.
Well, that's when you're getting this nice wide bandwidth signal. Sounds like you're listening to, what do you call it?
Rand, you been getting any more complaints?
That's a Kenwood stereo.
Nothing lately, Dave.
Hey, wait a second. I have a great idea. When I buy my next 890, what happens if I put them both on the air at the same time, right? One into my 1 amp, I'll have 2 of those amps combined, but for the test, I'll run one Kenwood on lower sideband, the other Kenwood on upper sideband, at the same time transmitting with both microphones and both amps. Will that give me stereo?
Put a combiner there and it would.
I do agree.
Just think, high fidelity stereo sideband. That ought to be the guys on 80 love that.
Well, you know, what you ought to be doing is building your antennas and starting to get ready for the good antenna season. You should have some dipoles with open wire feed line all built, ready to go, because I'm telling you, with all the people that listen here, they would, a lot of people would love to have a 160 antenna that they could put up at their home.
My caged 160 is almost completed.
Hey, I got my wires all cut and everything. There's still some snow right around the tower and it's muddy, but when that gets out of there, I'll be firing new wires up and new antennas and new this and new that.
Hey, Randy.
Yes, sir, Tom.
How do you tighten your tie wraps? The other day I bought a tie wrap deal there from to tighten them up tight, and now it works excellent. Wait a minute, I'll look at it. Okay, who made it?
Yeah, I've used those. I just pull them. I honestly, if you watch the video, you'll see I pull them tight because I actually pull the tabs right off. I don't have to cut them. I just pull. They break at the zipper.
Boy, you must be strong, because I've never been able to break one.
Yeah, I have one of his tools too. They work really nice.
Yeah, Thomas and Betts.
I give them a good tug till either you just pull them just enough till they break, or you break them.
You know, I may go back. But do you remember? This is N1 DVL. Do you remember when Gary was in here 8 months ago and he was looking up that real fine wire, 256 strand?
Right.
Do you know where to find that?
Oh, I think so. I think FlexWeave. Where is that? The Wireman. I think the Wireman has some of that.
Okay, because I still haven't got the money for the house yet, but when I get that money, I may buy a roll of that FlexWeave and really do it all up completely from A to Z all over again, And I think that once I get that up over the trees and everything, I think that'll probably last for 10 years.
Well, you got to make sure it's the right stuff. So we're going to do some research on that now, because I'm not sure if they got the exact right stuff. But let me antenna materials, antenna wire. Let me just take a look here for you.
Well, the stuff I bought, remember I thought I was getting a great deal on that wire. It turned out it was the same price as Home Depot, and it's the same, and it wasn't one continuous piece. I got screwed. It was 3 different pieces, and that wire is 19 strands, and that's the same stuff that THHN is.
Yeah, so this is Oat Silky, 13 gauge, 19 strand, 40% copper clad steel. Now that's the stuff that everybody just raves about because it's very, very strong.
Never. No. Number one, it's steel, and that's going to be, when you bend it over a tree, it's going to break. No. The stuff that Gary was talking about, it's 256 strands, and you can get it in any size you want, and it's very, very flexible. And it's got a very good jacket on it that's sunproof.
Yeah, so that's the FlexWeave I was talking about. 12 gauge, 259 strand, bare copper, ultra flexible antenna wire. As above for heavier application, breaking strength 170 pounds. So this is 35 cents a foot. Let's go. For 1 foot, 500 feet, which is what you want to buy, really. It's going to be in the 20. Hang on a second. So it's 26.6 cents. So if you want to get that 12 gauge, we'll buy a roll of it at 25 cents a foot for 1,000 feet. So it'll be $250. We'll split it.
K89 CAC.
Well, what do you mean by split it? How big's a roll? 1,000 feet, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's 1,000 feet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, KD9 or whatever. I didn't get the rest of the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, how's it going out that way on the Toad Harbor net?
Hey, he got it right. You can stay tonight, Ron.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I had a brain aneurysm.
What was he calling you last night, Randy?
The tug harbor net.
Oh, okay, the head tug.
The head tug, son of a gun, huh?
He was the one. He was the one that didn't want to spend $49.95 for your radio.
Sorry, Ray, I covered you. Ron, it's okay, but who put you up to it?
Hold it for 3 seconds, and a whole new menu pops up. Some of the menus I've never seen before.
Misspoken.
And
Okay, very good. No problem.
I cannot.
I can admit when I'm wrong, you know. What can I say?
It's just incredible. What a machine.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, how's it say in the Bible? He without fault cast the first stone, so I've been fault lots of times, so I don't know what to say.
So, Ray, here's FlexWeave 12 gauge with black, army green, or clear ultraviolet resistant, very flexible PVC jacket, brake strength 196. Now this is 43 cents a foot for 1,000 feet. So this is a lot more money, but it's a stronger. I would buy that one. It's stronger, and it's got the ultraviolet resistant, very flexible PVC jacket. The other one here doesn't say that.
Yeah, for 43 cents a foot, I got the stuff I got. I'm going to use it. I already got it. It's all cut up. It's ready to go. And I think, mine broke right at the solder joint. So I'm just assuming. I know that's why it broke. I don't think it would break other than that, because I've never had a wire break going over a tree, ever, that didn't have a solder joint in it.
I don't have. Why not? I don't put mine in the tree. So stop doing that. Just put a rope over that limb and tie the antenna to that and pull it toward the tree, but keep it out of the tree.
When the wire that goes to the east is laying over the tops of tall trees. There's no other way to do it. It's all trees.
Go ahead. That's a great idea.
On the idea, I'm gonna do it. I'll make it in a triangle.
That's a delta loop. Mine's all goofed up. Mine's not a normal shape. I've got mine steered around trees, and one end of it's got a real broad end. One leg is, I don't know, it's just hard to describe. It's kind of like a triangle with the end cut off. It just isn't a very good antenna. When I get this summer, I got some plans on fixing it up a little bit, maybe get a little bit higher, but certainly get in a better shape where I can open it up more, because it's not actually, when I steer it away from the tree, I actually steer it into the antenna towards the other side. So I'm making the opening smaller. The key about a loop is have the opening as big as possible. Have it cover as much area as it can cover.
Right. Yeah. I've been heard this guy down in Kentucky on. Well, I don't know. I guess you're on a loop, I guess, but this guy down in Kentucky, man, he really sounds good on that loop, and I'm gonna do it this summer. I'm gonna have to throw me some fishing line up the trees, I guess.
Well, a lot of people here run loops. There's a bunch of them in here right now.
Do you have enough room on your property to put up 2 loops?
Who, me?
No, Randy.
Yeah, I could. I don't have enough support, so.
Well, the thing is, now you got to listen to the great N1 DVL. When it comes to antennas, my mind never stops. The antenna you really want is 2 loops side by side with the goniometer thing on them. And the reason you want that is because you have front to back, instant adjustment, 360 degrees. You can go around the compass heading 1 degree at a time with that setup, and you get front to back. There's nothing that will touch that antenna, nothing. And the beauty of it is, once you get onto the high bands where the loop has, you do believe your loop has a 6 dB gain in some spots and a 14 or 15 dB gain null level in other spots, and that's just the way that's the way it is. With that setup, you can adjust that completely out, and you'd be able to get probably, I'd say on the higher bands, a 10 dB gain with probably a 10 dB front-to-back ratio.
Yeah, that would be nice, but it's probably not going to happen.
But it's not expensive. That's the beauty of it. It's not that's not an expensive antenna. You just got to get 2 loops up in the goniometer thing. I'm sure Bruce could build you one.
Yeah, no problem. It's very inexpensive. How well does it work if it's sitting on the ground?
Well, obviously, it's not going to work sitting on the ground, but I'm just saying that's the kind of antenna that you'd be good at, because you could get something like that up, and that's going to give you the best performance of any antenna system. There's nothing that'll beat it except the rhombic, and of course you can't adjust the rhombic.
So I just need to get 8 poles to hold it up, and that shouldn't be expensive at all.
Well, you got one antenna up on your property. If you put the tower in the barn, can you get 2?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, how about a 150-meter phased array antenna? What do you think about that?
Well, that's the best, the absolute best antenna that you could put up for this band is an 8-circle array. But Jesus, I mean, now you're talking about spending probably at least $50,000.
On a 160-meter phased array would cost that much?
Yeah, because to do with the ultimate setup, there's the 4-square, and then there's the 8-square, the 8-circle array. That's the one that gives you the best front to back and the best gain. I mean, that thing will give you 8.5 dBd gain, and it'll give you about 20 dB front to back. That would be an incredible antenna, and it's totally 100% steerable.
I don't know. I guess Randy won't have to worry about putting no double loop up.
I'm happy with the antenna I got. I just got to make it a little bit better. And I'll put my vertical up, and then that'll be that.
Well, I'm dying to see how that vertical works for you, because if that vertical works and actually performs, if it performs as good as the loop in close, and it's certainly going to be better, I would put a vertical up. I would get a commercial-grade self-standing tower and go balls to the wall out here, and I could put up that'd be such a nice setup to put up. I could actually put it right on the pad that I have now, probably. If you put up one of those self-supporting, you had some experience with towers there. If you put up a medium to small to medium size self-supporting tower, 125 feet tall, with no load on it at all, no load at all, would that stay up in 120 mile an hour wind?
Well, yeah, probably if it was rated for the right, with no wind load, no ice load or anything, yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, an antenna like that's got to be, rated, because you can't take it down when the ice comes.
If you can find a tower that'll freestand 125 feet, that's a pretty robust tower. Actually, that's what Bruce has there right now for sale.
No, Bruce his isn't 125. The tower's only 100. But actually, you know how much it would cost to move that tower. But the point is, that's a good tower done right, and then put a big cap hat on top of it. That would work spectacular.
It would be very cheap to move. It's all down on the ground. Just put it on a trailer and drive it.
Oh yeah, okay. And how big is it at the base? Isn't that like 10 feet across at the base?
You'd have to ask Bruce. I don't know. I'd have to. I think I can probably go back and look.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know. I suppose it could be done. A tower like that, you could probably put it up, build it on the ground, and then hire a crane to come in and just put it up. A crane could pick that up from my driveway with no sweat at all, right? Because it probably only weighs a couple of 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, right.
And we got a professional crane guy right here on the frequency.
And the only problem is trying to get up in the air, man. You got tree limbs, and it's hard to get through there.
I didn't hear one word you said. Did you hear him, Randy?
Yeah, I did.
God, I didn't hear one word that time.
Ron, you got to, do the best you can. He's running a Kenwood.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm doing the best I can right now.
I mean, he's only 20 over S9 to me, Ray. I can barely hear him.
Well, that's the difference. He's only a little over a 9 to me.
How come I'm 20 over 9 to you and only a 9 to him?
He's 200 and some miles further away.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
What antenna are you running?
What's your power, Ron?
About 700 watts.
Is your compression turned on?
No, I can turn it on.
Oh, you got to have your compression on, Ron.
All right, I turned the compression on. Is that any better?
Oh, I don't know. You have to talk a few times. Your signal's going up and down. That's the problem. When you're up over an S9, I can hear you. When you drop down to a 6 or a 7, you're under the noise.
All right, well, how much compression do you think I should run? About 2, 3, 4, what?
Yeah, you're like, my noise now is hitting almost 10 dB over 9, and, you're like, that transmission, you were a 9, and the noise was 5 over 9, and it's almost constant. That's why I'm having trouble hearing you. It's not you.
Hey, Randy, is that any better?
It is better, yeah.
Well, I put my compression on 3.
I would never shut it off. I don't know why you even shut it off, Ron. I mean, my compression's always on, and I'll shut it off. And now this is with my compression off. This is my compression turned off. Mary had a little lamp running everything the same amp and everything. And now this is with the compression turned back on. Mary had that same little lamp.
Yeah, I see the difference. But some of those hams out there, they like to complain. You know what I mean?
They're fools. They're just fools. Now, just for the heck of it, let's do the same test with me, just to see how it works, okay? This is with the compression off. Mary had a little lamb. And that's with the compression on. Mary had a little lamb. How much difference is there?
Oh, yeah, that's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, large difference.
Loudmouth.
And there it is. There's the secret right there. Compression. You always got to run. Boy, I'll tell you, Ron, if you don't learn to use that compressor and even jack it up for the summertime, nobody's going to hear anything because the noise is 20 over 9. Did I hear, what's his name, Joe?
Yeah, you hear W1GC. I've been trying for a while, but you guys are just babbling fools tonight.
You never threw your call out one time. I've heard you 5 times, Joe.
I didn't hear him once.
Oh, I forget that dang handicap. Put your call sign out there. All right. I'm sorry. My bad. How y'all doing?
Did you start tarring yet?
Well, hold on. And the reason, Joe, is I didn't really ignore you. I knew it was you, but there's a lot of guys that come in and just shoot their mouths off, and they don't want to identify. And if we picked up every Tom, Dick, and idiot that wanted to, say something stupid, we would be here all night arguing with these morons. But not that I know you're not like that. I know you didn't do that. But I just wanted to say real quick, thanks to Bill, W1FEN. He sent me an email on the FlexWeave wire. So Bill's listening. Bill, are you able to transmit here? Maybe I'll get another email. So go ahead, Joe. Are you tarring yet?
Well, one thing you should know is that I am a wise ass. Comic. But next time I'm going to make a comment like that, I will put my call sign out there. So, no, we're not tarring yet. The asphalt plant's not open up till April 8th. So, but, if you think about it, we are gifted with the nice weather we are. At least down here in Connecticut. I don't know about you northerners up there. I know you probably got dumped on with this last snowstorm, but
us southern New England gentlemen here are having a nice spring. It's supposed to be close to 70 degrees on Saturday, so we're looking forward to that. So, over to you, Randy.
Oh, what a day to sell the Beamer. I'll get rid of it that day.
Yeah, we're supposed to get more snow. They're saying now Sunday, more snow coming, but I don't think it's going to be anything that'll stick around. How much did you get out of that last storm Friday, Saturday? We got like 6 inches, but not through that storm that you guys got it. We didn't get that. We didn't get anything from that. We got lake effects on Sunday, right, Maureen? Saturday into Sunday, we got lake effects. You know, it was weird. I mean, they were talking about this upslope snow, and I'm like, all right, what is that? And it's the cold air rushing in up on the mountains, pushing the air up into the clouds and causing snow. And I tell you what, where there was mountains, it caused a lot of havoc, and there was a lot of snow. They ended up staying warm enough in which we didn't have to plow, but the temperature had dropped down to 28, in which we had to put salt. And that's around 300 feet elevation. But once you got up close to 1,000 feet elevation, you had to plow. Hey, when you're plowing, do you take the protectors off the bottom of the plow, and do you sharpen the bottom of the plow so you can tear the hell out of the blacktop? Unfortunately, no. I'm an honest gentleman, you know. But the one thing that was in my favor was the frost thaw that we had this winter. So it really wreaked havoc with everything.
So do you have a lot of jobs lined up?
As of right now, I got 55 ahead of me.
Wow, Randy, we're going to have a good year. We're going to have a really good year. What do you think we ought to line up for Joe to buy for new equipment?
I was thinking the same thing. Joe's going to be spending money in November. Well, I got to see. I just dumped $200,000 in new pavers, so I got to see what I got left after that. Yeah, but that's all a tax write-off. You get to take that for 7 years. Will you care?
Wait. Not anymore. You can write that off in 1 year now, can't
you? You can take a major part of it off in 1 year, but not the whole thing.
You sure? I thought that's what Trump did for business. He allowed you to take that write-off right in the first year.
I'm not sure about that, because I know I was talking to my accountant about that just last weekend, because we were there, and we've taken some big chunks out of wait a minute. No, he took a small amount the first year because I didn't need to, but he can take a bigger amount this year. But that's just different. It's just different. This is something that's ongoing from last year.
I'm pretty sure Trump made it so that if you spent $200,000 on a new paver, you can write that off in 1 year. And that's the way it should be. And the reason it should be that way is because then all businessmen would be a lot smarter, and what they would do is if they had a good year, then they'd go out and spend the money on new equipment so they didn't have to pay the stupid taxes on it, and that would bolster the economy.
I'll tell you what. With the paving business, when we were able to write off a bunch of money, paving contractors like me were buying new equipment, and companies were paving more so that they could write off more. You know, so it was a win-win situation. I'm curious to see how this year is in regards to business, because other contractors that do much more larger scale work than I do, I was talking to them, and they said the larger scale wasn't as prevalent as it was the year before. So last year was a kind of a bum year in regards to big jobs, mostly residential and small little condos and stuff like that. But as for the big jobs, they were cut back on that, and I don't know if it was because of the new tax law or what.
You can't, with your company, you can't do a street, right?
I don't do municipality work. I do a lot of lake communities and stuff like that. I don't have, a 10-ton roller and stuff like that. I mean, I got the new paver I bought would be able to do roads and stuff like that. It's just that some towns want a 10-ton roller. Don't know why, but they want a 10-ton roller. I mean, the only time you need a 10-ton roller is if you're doing interstates with tractor-trailers on it. But most of the private roads that you do for municipality, you can get away with a 5 to 6-ton roller. But those are the rules and regulations.
Well, what's your roller?
I have a 4,000 pound roller, so it's a 6,000 pound. I got a 3-ton roller with a vibratory 5-ton, and I use that for my gravel. Then I got a 2-ton, and then I got a 1-ton. So when I go out paving for residential, use a 2-ton and the 1-ton. When I go out and do commercial, I'll bring the 3-ton with me. And everything's come in ratio with even 2-inch binder course and a 2-inch top course. Everything has come in within 96 to 98% compaction, what they're supposed to be.
Now, let's say you were doing some lake thing, there was a lake and everybody on the lake wanted their private road thing, and the road was like 2 miles long. Could you do a job like that?
Oh, yeah. With the new paver I got now, it's bigger. It's got a 9-ton hopper, a heavy-duty screed, and, I'll be able to produce more asphalt.
Okay, just curious.
That was my signal to you tonight, Ray. You're 20 dB over. Tonight I was able to tune the wire antenna right down to a 1-to-1.
Yeah, because it's warm out and the ground's getting soft. Yeah, you're the same here. You're about 22. You're hitting about 22 dB over 9.
All right, good deal. So at least I know it's working for this, half-arch antenna.
You guys are 20 to 40 over in Virginia.
How's my signal down there? Let's see, Nelson. How am I doing down there?
You're doing 40 plus.
40 plus?
Yes, sir.
Wow, has he got a generous
I
meter?
just want to know if I'm stronger than Ray.
No, Ray's stronger than you.
Nelson? All right, Nelson, how am I? W1GC.
You're good, too. You're 40.
Nelson, are you serious? Ray's stronger than me?
Yeah, Ray has a nice audio.
Nelson, you're off the net. Never come back, ever, for any reason, even if there's a bomb scare.
Well, that's not fair. You know damn well that Kenwood's going to have better audio than any ICOM. Right, Joe?
I do agree. Both you and I are in stereo.
That's right. Okay, just as long as everybody knows it.
I'm going to have to swing the hammer here shortly.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me ask you this, Ray. Hey, Ray. What was it? I know there's, asphalt. My friend pays for the asphalt, too. And he said that guy, between the Clintons and Obama, they have ruined everybody's job in America there, over.
I'm not following what you're saying. What's Obama have to do with this conversation?
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that in the paving industry, Obama ruined the whole thing with the paving industry and stuff compared to Trump. Trump made those jobs come back in the USA with the paving industry there, over.
Oh, well, Trump, hey, look, doesn't matter whether you're in the paving industry or you're a chicken, you sell chickens. Trump has helped business tremendously to get those bozos off his back. They want they want this country to be a third world country so that they can run your life from the day you're born and you're working for the man. It's the new world order, and Trump is going to flatten them like a pancake. Just remember, when Trump runs for re-election, all hams, and I know this already, 98% of hams will vote for Trump because we're smarter than the average person.
Oh, heck yeah, definitely on that there. I voted for Trump, and I was happy when Trump won, man. there. And when I turn on my radio today, and in the afternoon to listen to Rush Limbaugh, they had that silly lady, Nancy Pelosi, said global warming is a national security threat to the USA. She's just out of her mind.
Of course she is. So anyway, go ahead, Randy, pick it up. What's going on with you now?
What are you trying to change the subject for, Ray?
I'm not. I don't want to hear anything really more about politics. I'm sick of politics. Everybody is. Every time you turn on the TV, it's the same BS time and time again. It's like the people in Washington. It's like kindergarten and first grade.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Maxine Waters was on there talking about a bunch of stuff that she said she never said, and it's all over the place for impeachment. And she was saying that she never asked for the president to be impeached. It's like, are you kidding? How stupid? I mean, these people. If I was a Democrat. If I were a Democrat, I would be pretty pissed off at the people that are representing me in government, because they think you are stupid. They think that you are really, really a dumb individual, and they can say whatever they want, and you'll just follow along. I mean, it's horrible. It's just very blatant, and these Democrat, politicians and other people just believe that the average American is just stupid.
All you have to do is look at Pelosi and Maxine Waters. Do you consider them intelligent?
No, not at all. Not at all. And they believe that they are smarter than everybody else.
They probably believe what they're saying, but I would love to give those two people an IQ test, because I don't think they'd hate it. Especially Maxine Waters. Oh, my God. She is as dumb as a stump.
You're just prejudiced, that's all.
Yeah, well, that's what they would say, but no, I'm not prejudiced. She's just stupid. She's just stupid beyond belief.
I mean, she's a little intelligent.
I didn't realize this had actually happened. I heard about this happening back 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, but I was on TV the other day, and I didn't realize it was true. They had these two generals in front of Congress, like 3-star, 4-star generals, and they were grilling them. And one of the idiots from the Congress said, well, you got so much equipment on that island. Aren't you afraid that the island's going to sink? And the guy was serious, and the two generals are standing there like not knowing what to say. I didn't know if they thought he was making a joke or not, but it turned out the guy wasn't making a joke. He thought the island was going to, sink.
Well, islands float. We all know that, right?
Absolutely. Yep. But they got a lot of float underneath them. I'm kind of curious what keeps them in place, though.
A big chain hook.
Oh, okay. And what's it hooked to?
Well, the Earth, you idiot. What do you think?
Okay, well, I don't know. With the rest of this crazy conversation, I don't know what it could. I figured the chain went right around the Earth completely.
No, it's a heavy chain. Jacques Cousteau, when he discovered all these islands, he hooked up all those chains. So that was his claim to fame.
Well, I mean, the Congress has an approval rating of 8%, and to be honest with you, it should be 2.
I find it hard to believe that it's actually as high as 8. Well, that's the families of the people in Congress.
Yeah, exactly, because that's how many people work for the government.
Hey, Randy, guess what I'm watching? I'm watching Mama's Gang trying to take down our Superman on YouTube. That stuff is funny.
Nelson, you can't stay here. You got to go immediately. You shut your radio off, go watch TV or something. You can't stay. You're being thrown off the net. You gave Ray a better signal report than me, and then you said he sounded better, so now you just got to go and never come back.
But now he listened to me on a radio with a wide bandwidth, and now he realizes how good these radios really sound, so he wants one.
Nelson, unless you repay your dues, you're out of here.
You mean you're charging them twice now?
That's right.
Better watch out. That guy's going to come back from last year.
Remember that guy? Oh, he was hot.
Yeah, he had to be a Democrat. He had to be. There was no way in hell he was a Republican.
So, Nelson, did you order your new 890 yet?
Oh, heck no. I cannot afford it, man. I'm going to have to settle for this Kenwood TS2000, man.
Oh, well, you can always get a 7300.
I thought you said the 7300 was overloaded, the front end of it.
No, I said, here's what I said. I said, if you're going to buy a new radio and you want to move up a couple, 2-3 generations, either there's two radios to buy, a 7300 or an 890. If you can't afford an 890, buy a 7300. It's still a hell of a good radio.
Yeah, here's a 7300 N1 SAG.
And now the 7300, your radio will overload long before a 7300 will.
And this is a 7300 with the stock microphone that came with it, and mic.
Yeah, that's because the new mixer they got into it. They take out the headsets out of it too there.
Well, Randy and Bruce gave me the Toad Harbor tune-up on this rig.
And it sounds really good. I'll tell you what, that radio does sound good, considering it's running a cheap, 30-cent hand mic.
They're a good mic.
Yeah, they are good, but they're not as good as a professional series. That MXL, I don't know which one. The MXL, you'd have to buy the goddamn preamp to go with it, though. What's his name? Chris proved that. He definitely did. That MXL mic does not work on that radio without a preamp.
Whatever. I'm an amateur, so I don't need a pro mic.
Hey, where's Bruce tonight? KD1 Mountain Whiskey, N1 DBL.
73, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get in the bed. Have a great day out there.
Will you?
Okay, Nelson. See you later. N1 DBL.
When you say your prayers tonight, Nelson, you better be asking God for forgiveness for your big mistake you made tonight.
Oh, shoot, man. See, web players, man. Somebody gave me a 220 beam. Left it on my porch. Merry Christmas to me.
Boy, that ought to really come in useful.
Yeah, that's a gift. Somebody threw garbage on your porch, pal.
No, well, it's a great 220 beam.
Yeah, and who are you going to talk to on 220?
I got Raleigh. I got Virginia Beach.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have a 220 radio?
Yeah, Icon 220.
Ah, you're all set then. Have fun.
No, I just need when I cast in all my parts and stuff, I'm going to mark that 890 there.
Well, okay, Nelson. If you're going to bed, sleep tight. And 73's N1 SAG.
Yeah, 73's, guys. And I'm just glad that finally there's conclusion that the Russia never interfered with damn operators. That's just too funny. 73's, guys.
Ray, President Trump's going to be talking to Hannity on his phone here in a little bit on Fox.
You let me know when he gets on. I want to run and watch that. So, Joe, let's see. I had a question for Joe. What was my question for Joe? Oh, Joe, yeah, and all the time you've had the Kenwood, have you ever had any kind of an issue with it?
He's on the phone now.
He's on now?
Yeah, I'm not going to rebroadcast it, though.
Okay, I'm going to go run down. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm going to check out. Shower time for me. I got to go to bed. KB2 ZVP. Good night, everybody.
Okay, Randy, your signal's still stronger than Ray's, and your audio's much better. So 73's and have a good evening. N1SAG.
Thanks, Dave. You can stay around as long as you'd like. Yeah, good night. Okay, y'all have a good night. See you tomorrow. KB2ZVP Clear.
Okay, Randy.